I keep seeing these headlines about the disturbing way men are eating right now. Gen Z men are eating the human equivalent of dog food. Boy kibble. So naturally I click thinking, what could they possibly be eating? What the heck is boy kibble? And then I watch the videos. It is just ground beef and rice. That was it. Super anticlimactic. There was a disturbing part in the end though. Everyone's reaction to this food. Because tell me why dietitians are furious about this and the media is freaking out about the whole thing. Boy kibble is the new toxic internet food trend.
New this morning, a social media trend getting its hooks into young men could be setting them up for a lifetime of health problems. Ground beef and rice. It's easy to cook and it's cheap. What it's not is healthy.
Honestly, sometimes it kind of sounds like internet dietitians cannot stand the sound of someone not eating Pop-Tarts. I don't know. Apparently eating moderately healthy is the new toxic trend. What is boy kibble? Experts warn parents about this viral TikTok diet. We've all been there. After a long day at work, you come home, realize you've skipped the supermarket again, and settle for a subpar dinner, a box of ramen, a bowl of buttered pasta, or even a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I feel like this article already really overestimates how much people cook. I know a lot of people who would consider ramen, peanut butter and jelly, and buttered pasta like a normal meal that they ate on purpose. Doesn't Trisha Paytas like live for buttered pasta?
Hi everyone, today we are having butter noodles on the veranda. I made homemade butter noodles.
But yeah, not everyone can cook, not everyone likes to cook, and not everyone feels that they have time.
So good.
But regardless, people gotta eat multiple times per day. The meal is regrettable and adds only a little sustenance at best. You promise yourself you won't stoop to that level again. But a viral trend is now touting that very simplicity, and the result is something akin to the human equivalent of dog food. Now, as you already know, we are about to be talking about ground beef and rice. Now we're gonna look at people's videos in a second, but it is not fair. We gotta say, okay? It is not fair to say that a packet of ramen is on the same level of ground beef and rice, and that ground beef and rice is on the same level as dog food. Is ground beef and rice the most nutritionally complete meal in the world? No, it's not. But is it on the same level as a PB&J? Not even close. One is 2 slices of ultra-processed Wonder Bread with sugared peanut spread and sugared berry spread. And the other is meat and rice. But this article and the dietitian situation is so dramatic, I thought we were gonna be talking about this. There are actually several instances of people making bachelor chow in a sincere way on the internet right now.
We're making dog food for humans. Why do I need this food? Got all my macros that I need, and it's gonna make my coat nice and shiny? Oh man.
Such as this guy.
This is my food, and my food is me. I've been eating my food all day, every day for the past 5 years, and I want to show you what goes into my food. The biggest ingredient for my food is vegetables. Here I got 11 different types of vegetables, totaling about 10 pounds.
And then when you're done chopping, it looks kind of like this. And when you mix it up, it looks something like this.
2 packs of tofu, 2.5, maybe 3 pounds of chicken breast.
Then I cook my tofu and chicken breast with olive oil.
And for carbs, I use brown rice and quinoa. I add my legumes. This is comprised of lentils, chickpeas, pinto beans, black beans, and red kidney beans.
This is the final product. Isn't it beautiful? I think it's beautiful.
My food has 19 single whole food ingredients plus tofu. Always remember that you are what you eat, and my food is me.
That is definitely human dog food in the most complimentary way possible. Like in the way that it's perfectly balanced and concocted to meet all of your nutritional needs in one go. You never have to think about it again, just eat that. Top comment. This guy gonna live forever. He probably will. If you could commit to this, you would really be winning life. Personally, I'm not willing to do it, being that I have obesity in my genes. I feel like I could not and would not commit to this. I also have a feeling that that combo of ingredients there gets very funky in that Tupperware very fast. But anyway, this is not the boy kibble we've come here to discuss. This is. Here it is, beef and rice. It does look like dog food. I will give the dietitians in the articles that, especially this guy served it up in what appears to be a plastic dog food bowl from the dollar store. But yeah, not much to see here, right? Kind of just an ugly, standard, get the job done type meal. Okay, yep, there it is. Now this guy added a hot sauce and a chocolate milk, but that's it. You've seen it, okay? You are caught up to date. There's not that many more videos of this. It's not that big of a trend like the article made it seem. Boy kibble is literally ground beef plus rice plus a very stereotypically male way of solving a problem. The problem that is dinner. Man, eating 3 times a day is literally a problem you need to solve. It's a bit of work. Cooking, cleaning, planning, grocery shopping, it's a lot. You will have to answer the following question every single day until you die. What am I going to make for dinner? And if you don't have a great system, this question will slowly start to drive you insane. It's part of why so many people in modern society eat fast food or takeout all the time. It is actual work to feed yourself on top of everything else we all have going on all the time. I keep seeing this sentiment go viral lately. Adulthood is realizing 90% of your life is figuring out what to do with chicken or ground beef. There it is, a problem to be solved. And in general, it's fair to say that men are more, utilitarian in the way that they solve problems. They just kind of do the thing. They don't really worry about like little frills or anything like that. They just kind of get the job done. So are we really shocked that the current and maybe only male food trend is just the simplest way to make a meal? Oh my God, damn. God, what is going on in that pan? The color, I think this is seasoning clumped. Oh my gosh, the wetness of it all, that does not look right. The female brain cannot comprehend this joy. You're absolutely right about that. You got me there. Really important to say here, if you're gonna cook ground beef all the time, learn how to do it right. Just one time, just look it up. Because I don't know what's going on in that pan, but you are objectively doing it wrong. That is an abomination. Turn up the heat in the pan. Just turn up the heat. I can literally tell from this video that the temperature is not hot enough on that pan. It is not one of those things where there's no wrong way to do it. There is a wrong way to do it. And it's right there.
If your beef mince ends up looking like this, all grey and watery, this is how you fix it. First step, make sure you preheat your pan properly. It takes longer than you think. And look at the difference. Does it take longer? Yeah, it does. Is it messier? Absolutely. But is it worth it? Well, for me, 100%. I know what one I want to eat.
That's another thing. They're Gen Z men, right? So they're young men, and many of them probably can't cook yet. I couldn't cook when I was like 19. Although I guess they're like, what are they, like 28? What are they, 27? What's the oldest Gen Z? 27? 27 to like way, way, way younger. They probably can't cook yet. I couldn't cook when I was like 19. Hence, ground beef and rice. It's almost impossible to mess it up. Clearly possible, as we've seen, but almost. Born to have girl dinner, forced to eat boy kibble. Oh no. Oh my God. Boy kibble but it's chicken breast is so much worse. And then just a whole bowl of ground beef at the end there. Oh my God, I'm watching it again. Oh, dang, the water going in there. Why is there so much going into the pan at one time? Why would anyone put a pile, literally, of meat in there completely unseasoned? He left it so wet too, the little drip there. That is going to be an absolute mess. And at the end, he's just feeding him and his girlfriend. No onion, no garlic, just protein at what cost? For me, plain ground beef is actually tasty with just salt. Like, it's good plain to me, which is why this trend makes sense. But to not season your chicken breast, that's actually sick. He seasoned it off camera, right, babe? I would actually break up over this. And yes, it is that serious. I mean, you don't have to, but golly, you're stronger than me, girl. Also, watching that clip, there is no way this guy is seriously gonna eat that. I don't think it's rage bait. I mean, look at his face while he's doling it out. He's serious. But I seriously think this is like day one of a new diet plan for this person. He's gonna give up in 2 days when he opens his Tupperware of nasty, unseasoned chicken breast and decides it's not worth it. That's how that's gonna go. That's like me when I did Tim Ferriss's slow carb diet, when I just started bringing Tupperware full of beans to work. Every day for lunch, it's a new day. What am I eating? Tupperware of beans. People would be like, why are you eating that? And I'd be like, well, You wouldn't understand. Tim Ferriss told me that this is the secret to weight loss. So here I am with my big bowl of beans. Don't mind me. I did not make it long on that diet, and I don't think this guy's gonna make it that long either. I wish him well, but I don't have high hopes. It doesn't change the macros to add seasoning to your food. It doesn't. When you refuse to add seasoning, you're playing a joke on yourself. Now, this was probably the most extreme version of the boy kibble thing, where the person doing it gives absolutely zero fucks. No seasoning, no hot sauce, no rice, no cooking skills. But a lot of people in the comments pointed out what is the most obvious nutrition problem with all this. Why aren't there any vegetables? Which, by the way, someone had the audacity to comment this back. Vegetables aren't even worth the calories burned chewing on them. I don't know where to start with that. Like, what do you say to someone whose opinion is vegetables aren't worth the calories burned chewing on them? Now, obviously, I could talk about the health benefits, the importance of fiber, and the rising rates of colon cancer. Or I could talk about the fact that chefs around the world would slap you for a phrase like that. But on top of that, an even better point, you know who really likes vegetables? Sailors. Sailors from the 1800s, from the 1700s, they would literally stock their hull full of vegetables, specifically cabbage, sauerkraut, in order to prevent their teeth from falling out of their skulls. We all know scurvy, and it's just one of the many nutritional deficiencies that vegetables can help you prevent. Also, you guys remember Paul Saladino, the guy who calls himself Carnivore MD?
Do you think your ancestors got excited about eating pond scum?
The guy who basically became famous for hating on vegetables?
You sometimes ask me which vegetables are okay to eat. My answer is no. Did your ancestors really have celebrated these? Do you really need these foods to be optimal? I say no, not a chance. Total bullshit.
Going to the grocery store with no shoes on and yelling at people to not eat vegetables?
How are you going to get your choline from eating plants? Where are you going to get choline from? Where are you going to get creatine from? Where are you going to get carnitine from? Where are you going to get anserine and taurine? Where are you going to get vitamin K2? You ever heard of vitamin K2?
I'm telling you, all our food is in plants.
No.
Yeah, he eats vegetables again.
We got some asparagus. Yeah, asparagus. I bet you guys didn't expect to see anything green on my plate, but I've been experimenting with a few new foods, and I feel pretty decent with asparagus. It's nice to get some variety, different flavors. I'm open to incorporating a few vegetables. I guess technically you got as a vegetable as well.
So all in all, in 2026, to hear someone say that vegetables aren't worth the calories burned chewing on them or whatever, it's just crazy. It's misinformed. And maybe all this vegetable hate is why these dietitians are so mad. While the trend offers a simple and cheap way to max out protein consumption, some dietitians are concerned it's leaving out other nutrients. Fair? Abby Sharp, a registered dietitian, said this protein-obsessed carnivore-style diet phase is displacing beneficial fiber that 95% of North Americans aren't getting enough of. Other than fiber, Americans are also deficient in vitamin D, calcium, and potassium, according to the 2020 to 2025 dietary guidelines for Americans. To be sure, many devotees tout the trend with a half-joking air. Some TikTokers also include vegetables like kale and spinach, while others treat themselves to seasoning or hot sauce. But for many of those hopping onto the trend, it's that blandness and simplicity that gives boy kibble its appeal. Okay, the thing is, the men eating the boy kibble thing are not carnivores because they're eating white rice. I don't think anything nefarious is happening here. Like the article said, it's the blandness and simplicity people are into. I don't think it's about much else.
Ground beef and rice. It's easy to cook and it's cheap. What it's not is healthy.
I'll say boy kibble is healthier than a lot of the junk I ate when I was in college.
Ground beef really does have a major advantage over a lot of other protein sources. It's super convenient, it cooks fast in the pan, tastes good with minimal seasoning and minimal skill, it defrosts quickly if you forget to take it out of the freezer, and when you cook it, it actually reheats in a non-gross way, allowing you to make a ton of it in advance and to happily eat it throughout the week without it being funky. Rice, same thing. Now, ideally, people would add a vegetable as naturally as they add rice, but vegetables get skipped because it's an extra step that a lot of people don't love. So before we get to the other dietitian commentary that kind of goes off the wall a bit, let me quickly break down for you the easiest possible ways to bump up the nutrition in boy kibble without barely any extra effort. Let's start with the fiber thing. Ground beef plus white rice equals 0.5 grams of fiber, which is not good. Or you could do ground beef plus brown rice plus avocado. Now you're at 7 grams of fiber, which is pretty good. Add some frozen raspberries on the side, frozen because they're cheap and they don't go bad. Now you're at 12 grams of fiber. Now the meal is excellent in terms of fiber, and you didn't cook an extra thing. Plus, you also added antioxidants and beneficial fats, all in the laziest way possible. But anyway, finally, the dietitian situation. Abby Sharp, who has over 1 million followers on TikTok, where she reviews users' eating habits and popular dietary trends, warned that the commitment to the meal could slip into dangerous territory. This kind of moralizing of food, or turning suffering through meals into a badge of honor, she said, can map onto some kind of disordered eating patterns and risks. No different than, say, orthorexia, or an obsession with food that one considers healthy. Were we watching the same boy kibble? Because I just... Who was moralizing the food exactly? What an absolute reach from what was actually going on in those videos. People are just trying to eat. Who's suffering? Like, what are we talking about? You'd think a dietitian would be like, wow, it's nice to see that this meal is 0% ultra processed food. That's a major step up. I feel like it's kind of good that some people can enjoy a very, very simple meal of just meat and rice. Like, as a dietitian, wouldn't it be kind of comforting to see that people's simple meal has evolved from like a box of Totino's pizza bites, especially young men? Like, if boy kibble was Lucky Charms, I get it, dietitians, please step in. But of all social media trends, I have to say, men eating beef and rice has to be one of the least concerning ones I've ever seen. Like, where are we getting orthorexia? It's not an orthorexia thing, it's a people are trying to eat thing. Also, the rest of the article even says some men on social media admit to eating the meal up to 7 times per week as a cheap way to build muscle. 7 times per week, as in once a day. Like, how could it be concerning? It's just one meal out of the day. It's so insanely unproblematic, but Abby Sharp is not the only dietitian who's concerned. So this is an article for parents.com. What is boy kibble? Experts warn parents about this viral TikTok diet. An unpleasant reality of raising modern teens is that they get some of their health advice on social media. Such is the case with the new trend involving what's being called boy kibble. Yes, you read that correctly. Men are making meals and comparing them to dog food. This dinner in a bowl, however, is less nutritionally complete even compared to what you may be feeding the 4-legged members of your family. Yeah, but nobody said only eat this for the rest of your life. They're eating it once per day. And to be honest, there's not even that many videos about this topic. The news loves doing this. I swear I'll see a new article about a new health trend and I'm like, oh, neat. I go check it out. Not a trend. Fun fact, the news also makes slop content and it's resulting in problems that don't actually exist. The article then goes on to say that apparently the whole idea of boy kibble was created by this guy in this clip.
Y'all may have grilled dinner, but I got boy kibble. It's 8 p.m. and I'm raw dogging some 93.7 ground beef. We're not the same.
Unfortunately, no matter how knowledgeable a TikToker may look and sound online, there may be little science to back up their claims about boy kibble or any other nutrition topic. Simply having shoulders that look great in a tank top does not afford someone authority on nutrition, cautions Destiny Moody RD at V Nutrition. She says that when it comes to this particular trend, advising followers to eat the same thing is a giant red flag. Because food is plain, boring, and bland, doesn't mean that it's healthy, and there's no superior virtue attached to eating this way every night, counsels Moody. Just because you're suffering doesn't mean you're better. It just means you don't know better, and that's not something to look up to in a creator. Guys, are we watching the same clips? I'm so confused. No one is suffering here. Why are these dietitians so convinced that people can't enjoy ground beef and rice? Okay, I really don't want to give my hot take here, but I'm starting to feel like I have to. A lot of internet dietitians rub me the wrong way, okay? That's the truth. I had to get it out there. They really do. Like, this is ground beef plus rice. It is so much better than 99% of the things you could possibly eat in the world. And yet it's extremely problematic. It really does feel like sometimes that dietitians, internet dietitians, are so quick to jump on someone for having some sort of healthy lifestyle or grasping at a healthy lifestyle, and yet at the same time, okay, rarely address anything like sugar, ultra-processed foods, junk food, the food industry, anything about overeating at all. You know, the main dietary struggle that the world is going through collectively right now. It's a video of someone eating Pop-Tarts for breakfast. Dietitian pops in with their take. Dietitian here, I love that even though there's no real fruit in here, these Pop-Tarts are inspired by fruit flavors. A+. It's a video of a truck driver who only eats gas station taquitos and powdered donuts. Dietitian here. Wow. I just want to say that that's a really creative way to fuel yourself on the road. It's a video of someone eating chicken breast and salad and sweet potato. Dietitian here. I'd like to point out some red flags with this meal. And next time, it would be a lot more balanced if you had at least one donut. I feel kind of bad making this joke. They are professionals. And obviously I'm very biased as an ex-obese food addict. But I feel like so many of the dietitians I see online never bring the heat when it comes to the actual issues that are plaguing our diet in modern society. Yet there's 15 quotes in every article telling you how dangerous beef and rice is. I don't know. These articles eventually popped up on Reddit, and even people there were like, why was this even created? Bodybuilders have been doing this for decades and no one batted an eye. This is just shitty spin for clicks. Boy kibble, and it's literally just meat and rice? Oh, I do this because I'm lazy. I've been eating versions of this since I was a kid. Not a trend, just a quick cheap meal. And there you have it, the super problematic, life-ruining trend. That was actually nothing at all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.